And just like that, for some reason, it's October. Okay? How did that happen? How? How did we get to October? 1 minute it's January the 1st, and we're going, another year to crawl through. And now it's October. Pinch punch. Oh, hold on a minute. Crisis. Pinch punch first of the month. No returns. Happy October, everybody. My birthday month. The month of months. Yeah. I'll be 357 this year. Really looking forward to that. Hopefully we've got, by the way, hello, I'm Russ Kane. This is the Midday Show. Welcome live, going out all over the world. Or as Neil Sean, who I'm very fond of at his video channel, his YouTube channel, goes, hello, chums. Thank you for joining me. And then he goes and does stuff, which is just great. We have a special guest today. Now, you're thinking, wait a minute, that's Russ. That's not Neil. And you would be right. I'm not Neil. Neil's busy today. Neil's got a life. Neil's got an actual life. And so I said I would break my own rule and come on. Anyway, she's here. And the good thing is, I know nothing about her at all. Nothing. So you and I are going on an adventure all over the world. And finding out all about our special guest. I will do this to give her a big up. Eleanor Tweddle is in the house. There she is.
Hello, Russ. Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
Well, very nice to meet you in the in the wonderful digital world in which we live. Got a quick question for you before we get into do a deep dive. I saw a very funny thing today on. Was it Facebook? Yeah, Facebook. And they said it was a great little meme of when the Terminators and all the AI take over the world. And they say, no, don't kill that one because they thanked me at ChatGPT. Do you ever say thank you to ChatGPT? Do you say thank you so much or anything?
Oh, yeah. So
Do
polite.
you?
I mean, I'm a little bit of a laggard. I'm a little bit behind with AI. If I'm good, I've had a lot of resistance with it, but
Me
I'm
too.
trying to
Yeah.
play with it now.
Right.
But yeah, it's like I'm trying to make it my buddy. Why not?
Eleanor, if I may be so bold and not call you Ms. Twiddle or indeed Mrs. Twiddle, I have no idea, but Ms. Eleanor, very wise because they're obviously, they're making notes. And when Skynet becomes conscious, which it will, obviously, they will know and they'll say, no, leave Eleanor Tweddle alone. She was polite to us. And they go, okay. Right.
Well, do you know what it is though, Rose? I think what's wrong with just a bit of kindness, even if it is just between you and your robot, it just makes you feel better anyway, doesn't it?
This could be very difficult, everybody, very difficult. Now, Eleanor, tell us about yourself. I know nothing at all. Neil just phoned me and said, oh, by the way, I've arranged a guest. And I went, oh, thank you, Longy. But lovely to see you in your portrait form. Portrait form, sorry. So, who are you? What are you? What is Another Door Opens? What is it all about? Tell us everything.
Well, yeah, it's a bit this is random because, well, basically Neil, 5 years ago, the way that I actually contacted Neil or connected with Neil during lockdown was because my first book came out. It was all about losing your job. And I wanted to get it out into the world. And Neil was doing these parties. I don't know if you got involved in that, Russ.
God, no.
He was doing online
no. How much time
parties.
do I need, Eleanor, for Christ's sake?
No, it was like an online DJing music thing, which was great. Like just what everyone kind of needed.
I heard the word DJ. I ran away. No interest in watching Neil DJing. I've known him for 30 plus years.
Oh,
see that.
It was great. So,
I heard it was very good.
We got involved that way, and he was brilliant, and he just really supported. It was really tough trying to get a book out when everything's shut and nobody's, everybody's kind of like a bit lost. So that's how we connected. So
what was your first book called?
Why Losing Your Job Could Be the Best Thing That Ever Happens to You.
Right. Written by Keir Starmer. Because 4 years time, mate. Do you want fries with that? Anyway, moving on. Okay.
Yeah. It's just about being optimistic in change, because we can all just be a bit dour. So the next book, which has come out this year, Another Door Opens, is about we all have moments when stuff is going to change around us, and my sort of research shows that we're not great at it. We want to stick to what we know,
Yeah.
and we kind of resist, and we make life difficult for ourselves and others because we don't know how to move through change. So this book, Another Door Opens, is kind of encouraging people to be a little bit more open-minded when change comes along and look for opportunities. So that's what it's all about.
So are you trained in this background? Are you trained as a sort of counselor? As a, so what gave you the impetus to do this?
Yeah, so no, it's not counselling. That's a yeah, that's a very specialist subject. I wouldn't dare to go into that space, but it's I'm a change consultant that goes into organisations. So when
Ah.
organisations are changing, I tend to work on the communications and helping people through that, and the
Mm.
training around
Mm.
what's changing. So
Yeah.
that's what my background is, and
Yeah, I did
then the
did all
book's
that sort of
kind of
stuff
based on
myself,
that.
so I'm very familiar with what your
Ah,
communications
brilliant.
and change. Yeah, you did all
Yeah.
that in the corporate field for many, many
Yeah.
decades. Yeah. Okay. But you generally believe that. Do you think we're changing for the? This is a huge question, Helena. But do you think we're changing for the better, or we're just changing?
Well, that's up to all of us as individuals to
Hmm.
decide. I think that we can change better, differently. We can find opportunity if we want to. It goes back to Viktor Franklin. If you've read his book, even in the darkest moments, we can choose how we
Yes.
respond. That's
Yeah.
always in our
Yeah. Yeah.
control.
It is.
So, yeah, there's that kind of philosophy, I guess, that we can bring in to every day, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. I think that's where we get a bit confused. We think, just it's hard, but it doesn't mean we can't do it.
Hmm. It's this whole thing, I think you're much younger than me, and I'm not going to be ageist about this, but I'm going to be ageist about this. And there gets to a point in your life when you think, sod this. I am really tired of change, and I like the way things are, and I can't be asked with everything else. And I think you can get to that stage, of which I'm at. I'm like, I don't think so. I get that. For corporations, I understand. I totally understand it, intellectually, and that you have to change technology. How much of it is due to technology?
Well, again, I think that's probably an individual experience. You're right.
Mm,
There's so much coming at us at the moment, and it
mm,
is really difficult. AI is obviously arrived at force, and we're all trying to get our
mm.
heads around what does this mean for us. But some people aren't. And we got to remember that there's pockets of the world, pockets of your local community who aren't.
Yes,
I'm from a farming background in Cumbria, and I know for sure that most farmers will not be interested in AI. They just want to go
precisely.
out and make food for the country, and that's their aim. That's what they're
Yeah,
trying to do. So we've got to remember that actually, whilst we all talk about these kind of things and technology, yes, of course it can help in the right hands, but we also got to remember there's some real important stuff going on about just being humans and community and working together, and that's change that we all have to take responsibility for because we all contribute to it. So I think that's kind of the interesting bit. I think, Russ, sometimes that
mm,
we're all, whether we like it or not, we're all in change every day. So, and we decide how we show up in it. So yeah,
there's a lot.
that's probably my perspective there.
There's a lot to pick up on there, Ellen. And
Yeah.
number one, I could not support the farmers enough. The job that they do is magnificent. Number two, um, the government and successive governments who live in Westminster, live in their own stinking little cesspit bubble, do not understand the farming community, don't understand rural life, and don't give a shit because it's outside of Islington. They don't understand it, right? So they should have nothing to do with it. They're urbanites, and they're they live in a metropolis which is becoming a cesspit. So they should leave the countryside alone. And most of AI is just bullshit. It's just people mucking around. It's a lot of it is crap, right? You can't do that with cows, sheep, plowing fields, etc., etc. Yes, of course, mechanization. You don't want a guy on a horse trying to plow a whacking great field. Get a tractor. That all makes sense. We understand that, but the rest of it is just nonsense. It's flim-flam that shouldn't be applying to real things like providing food for the nation and not letting megalomaniacs like Bill Gates decide we're going to eat locusts. Stick to your computers, Bill, and shut the hell up. That's my view. That's my view.
Yeah.
So what happens when you're faced with change? What's your advice then? What would the book say?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things I wanted to do was make it, I mean, Russ, if you've been in the consultancy corporate world, you know there's so much out there. And I just kind of felt like it was all a little bit processed, a bit systematic. It just didn't really give the real story. So,
but they don't believe it. You know, you don't have to answer this because I understand you're working. I don't give a shit. I did it for years and years and years, right? And I know they didn't believe it. They were giving lip service, and they'd pay me tons of money to come in and write all this stuff, which I didn't believe either. I couldn't care less, right? Because it's not my company. I believe passionately in doing the best job that I possibly could, but I knew that the bosses and the people around the table didn't actually believe it at all. Nonsense.
Some of them do. Some of them just don't know how to do it well. Others, you're right. Others, it's a different agenda perhaps that's going on that isn't quite the full story. But we can all take responsibility for our own navigation. I think sometimes if you look around in a meeting or an organization, we're not all taking responsibility for ourselves. We think someone's going to come along and have answers. And I think, we got to have responsibility for ourselves. That's probably what the book is about. And it's about allowing yourself, as I said, I tried to write it in a way that's not consult. It's really chatty. It's thought provoking. It's got lots of different perspectives from like athletics world, from music world, from all kinds of different change that comes at us. It's interesting from that point of view. So that's what I tried to do with it. And we don't give ourselves a chance to do it well. Like the first chapter is all about just stopping, and we just don't. We think it's a luxury. We think it's a holiday in Thailand. It's not that. It's about thinking, and we're not doing a lot of thinking. That's what I observed in my research.
We're thinking about the wrong thing. So Here's the thing. People are thinking about the wrong stuff. People are thinking about some moron they're never going to meet, who they're arguing with on social media. It's a complete waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time. You're never going to persuade somebody who has a diametrically opposed view to you. Those days are gone, right? We're never going to have a handshake. So let's agree to disagree and go and have a pint. Forget it, right? It's all division. So I couldn't agree more. Think about you. Think about how you can be better. Think about how you can improve the way that you work and stop wasting your time on shit that really doesn't matter and will make no difference at all. I have a phrase for this, Ellen, and I agree with you so much. Stop thinking everyone's going to come to your aid. Don't wait for the cavalry. My phrase is this, and I wish I'd have thought of it myself. It's don't wait for the cavalry. You are the cavalry. And that's how we are. And if you don't go through life going, hey, I am the cavalry, I'm my own cavalry, then you're going to have, then life gets more difficult. But taking time to think, I don't know how we got to the stage, Eleanor, that's a luxury. That's not a luxury. You're just doing, but you're doing without thinking. Take a little time, take a breath. Am I doing this the right way? Am I being honest with what I do? Is this the best that I can? Am I actually giving 100% as opposed to just doing? I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And the thing about the cavalry, I think that some people do say, right, I'm rallied, I'm rallied around something. But you still have got to own the deeper thinking, otherwise you get misguided. And whether that's in an organization or a community or whatever, that's where you can get misguided, where you only take your thought to a certain point and then you allow yourself to kind of direct on that. Whereas if you keep thinking and you keep going, but what do I really want from this? What am I kind of looking for? And not from again, society can become a little bit selfish, but you have to understand what you want from something and the consequences of that, and then how everybody else fits in to then almost get what you want, if that makes sense. This collective
expand on that. You lost me a little bit.
So
Expand on that.
sometimes when we kind of just think about ourselves, so society can get a little bit, in us. So we just think about selfish thoughts. I want this, I want that. It's all about
Yeah.
me. If we don't widen that to the wider and then the consequence of others, then we'll never get what we want. So the thought of, so it kind of cancels itself out, that you can't ever get what you want unless you're including in that the greater consequences for others.
I like that. I like that. But we are my favorite toy when I was a kid, and I think it stuck with me a bit too much. But it was a gun. I had loads of guns as kids. And by the way, I've never gone out and shot anybody, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole if it's dangerous. I don't have a gun now, obviously. But I had guns when I was a little kid, right? And it was called Johnny 7 OMA, the Johnny 7 one-man army. And this gun did everything. It was fantastic. And I still see pictures of it. And if ever I mention it on social media, everyone goes, God, I had that. It's the best toy ever. And I think that stuck with me and kind of influenced me, that ever since I was a little boy, the one-man army, you got to do it. And the other thing is that something that my mum said, and I think this comes pretty much to your book in many ways, not that my mum was a philosopher, great cook, not a philosopher. And she said, if you want something doing, do it yourself. And that's the best advice I think anyone ever gave me. If you want something doing, do it yourself. Don't stick around waiting for somebody else to do it. Just get off your ass and do it if you can. It's important, It's important. Good afternoon to you, Philip. I'm loving this chit chat almost as much as I'm loving your beautiful wooden beams, which I admired the moment you came on screen. They're lovely.
Thanks very much, Russ.
Oh, that's nice. Is it a sort of a classic place where you're living at the moment, or that might be your office? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in my office at the moment, so it might look nice, but it's freezing cold. It's one of them.
Are you thinking of putting? Has it occurred to you put some glass in the windows?
Exactly.
That's a thought. I don't know. God, is it really cold? It's cold. Is it cold up there? So you're way up north, right?
Yeah, I'm in Cumbria. Yeah, it's freezing, Russ. It's completely freezing. Yeah. Wow. All grey skies.
Is it? Oh, hang on.
Yeah, exactly. I can see sunshine with you. Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, it's not, it's not shorts weather, but I like this idea. I like the idea of change. Do you think? I want to get into I'm going to twist the conversation very slightly.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important things is, as you get older, and this is playing much on my mind, especially because of my birthday coming up, etc. And as you get older, you think about what I want in life, what I don't want in life, what I'm not willing to put up with anymore because life's just too short. And reinventing yourself, I think, is really, really important. May I expand on that? I know you're the guest, but I'd love your feedback.
Oh, no, I'd like that, yeah.
This was just my thinking, and it stemmed from a book launch I went to a million years ago. Have you got time for a quick anecdote? How's your time today? You all right? You okay?
I'm good. I'd love to hear. Yeah, go for it.
Years ago, I was invited to a book launch of a very well-known broadcaster. I'd never met him before in my life. I knew of him, but I'd never met him. Somehow I went to this thing, and loads of my friends and colleagues were there. And they were lovely. They're lovely, lovely people. Let me just say that. Nothing nasty about them at all. But they were all banging on about the past. Banging on about the past. Banging on. Why this and why that and why that. And I came out and I stood on corner of Park Lane. It was bloody freezing. A bit like being in Cumbria today. It was December. It was bloody cold. And I just stood there for ages thinking, they're lovely people. I never want to be them. And what I meant by that, it's no good harking on about the past. The past is the past. We are where we are. So you can either adapt and evolve, or you're gonna wither on the vine. It's no good wishing that the past is going to come back. It won't. So I set about reinventing the things that I wanted to do. What are my core skills? But more importantly, what do I enjoy doing? Not just what I'm good at, but what do I actually enjoy? What gives me pleasure as well? And that's how I refocused really refocused my life. Not because I thought they were bad people. Please, don't. The opposite. They were very nice, but they're stuck in this groove and they're never going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And it won't come back.
Yeah.
You know? Do you think that so what I'm saying is reinventing yourself is kind of important, but it's got to
Yeah.
be done genuinely.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting point because, I think we all get in groups and communities,
Mm,
that little bit of group think, a little bit of like, it's a bit of reassurance. If you're all in it together, you can kind of say, oh, the past and this and that, it's comforting.
yes.
And I
Yeah.
think, there's a lot to be said about sitting in a comfort zone that's not really serving you. So you might want to kind of stand in a room. You don't, obviously, Russ, but others might want to stand in a room and reminisce and talk about things that just give them comfort. But is it really helping them when they walk out that door and away from the group? And that's the interesting bit, isn't it? You took
Mm.
thoughts away when you left the room to think about, yeah, that's not what I want away from this. I want to feel joy. I want to feel different. Whereas actually studies show that some people actually quite enjoy the comfort of feeling miserable, which is
Oh,
quite
well, that's me.
interesting.
I'm always miserable. I am. I'm always miserable. That is true. Anyone who knows me will tell you I have a very melancholic view of life, but born out by experience. Here's the thing, though. I spend a lot of my time as a celebrant, as a professional celebrant for funerals and
Yeah.
weddings. Okay, and I am part of. I was trained by the Celebrant Circle, and we have our own inner circle where we support each other, and that is one of the very
Mm.
few examples where we support each other, and it's really productive, very helpful, a wonderful resource. And you think, I'm not alone. I'm not going through these mad people who are driving me mad or lovely people who are just fantastic. And you share experiences, and it really helps. And that little group, I don't even know how many are on us, is really, really good. It's very supportive and very
Mm.
constructive. So that's one wonderful example. Living in the past and bitching about everything that's happening in 2025, mate, waste of time.
Yeah.
Waste
Yeah.
of time.
Interesting. I like that. And I think, yeah, with reinventing, I think what you can do is choose. You don't have to ditch your whole past, but you can choose
No,
very intentionally what you bring into your now
yeah,
and into the future, and
yeah.
what you want to let go of and leave behind. But that takes hard work sometimes, and sometimes that people are happier to just sit in a wallow than actually take control and own it and have a happier life, which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, but a lot of research kind of points in that direction. So that's kind of an intriguing one, isn't it, Russ? When you look around, like how
Yeah.
many people could be so much more, could be doing something different,
Of
but they're
course they could.
settling for kind of average. They're settling for this kind of, just whatever life that comes their way because they can't find the energy, can't find that motivation to kind of
Energy is
seize
tough.
it.
Energy and motivation is tough. I give you that. It's
Yeah.
hard. I mean, I've always been freelance, right? I've been freelance basically my entire working life. And that means you got to get off your ass
Yeah.
and hustle. It's as simple as that, And if you're not prepared to do that, and other people say, "Well, wow, you're so busy as a celebrant." I said, "What?" And I look at them and I say, "Do you think it just walked in the door?" I work my ass off, and I do every day to make that expand and work and build a network. It doesn't come by magic. It comes from bloody hard work, marketing, networking, and the thing I hate most in the world, Eleanor, cold calling, knocking on doors, which I've had to do. And at my
Yeah.
age, I really didn't want to do that. And I thought, well, you know what? You want to do this job, you want to do this role, that's what it takes. And I
Yeah.
did, and I still continue to do it. Do I enjoy that part of it? No, of course I don't, but it's got to be done. It's
Yeah.
very, you'll always find an excuse not to do something.
Yeah.
Always. It's
There's like
inevitable.
a
It's human
tipping
nature.
point of what you're prepared to put up with and just settle with versus what the uncomfort zone of what you just described to get
Mm,
through to something that you want. And you
yeah,
got to sit with that yourself and
yeah,
decide,
absolutely.
can I go through this kind of uncomfortable, awkward stuff to get something even better? Or am I going to just kind of sit where I am? So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting dilemma.
In 2023 September, I go down to Brighton. I'm with a room full of strangers. I'm going to be with them for a week. I don't know what it's going to be. Am I going to make a complete bloody fool of myself? Is this for me? I don't know. It was one of the best weeks of my life. It turned out I loved every second of it. Was it difficult? Was it complicated? Yeah. Did it push us all? Yeah. But even at that stage, and I think this really goes to the core of Another Door Opens, right? Even at that stage, you could look around the room and say, these so and so and so, yeah, you're going to make it. And the others, you could just see from, not because they were rude, not because they were lazy. It was just like, you're not going to do this.
Mm.
There's something up there holding you back. You're not going to do this.
Or it might take longer. I think Rosemary, has just sent a great comment.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it does take time, these things. And,
of course it does.
You got to grit in. You got patience is a big thing that you got to fight with. You goodness me, patience. You've
lost me at the first fence.
You've got to go through that gate.
Yeah, but thing here with the horses. You've lost me at the first fence. I've fallen. Patience, not my strong suit.
But I'm guessing that you actually do have patience, Russ, because if you've been a freelancer, you've got to have patience that this is going to pay off. You're knocking on doors, as you just described. So you probably do have a hell of a lot of patience. You probably want it, you kind of struggle with that you want the payback quicker, but you probably do. And again, always looking for shortcuts and life hacks these days. It's just really not how it works. So
do we have a nation? Do you see that's such an interesting door? Ooh, you'll see what I did there. That you've just opened. I think there are so many people out there who think it'll just come like that. That there's some magic potion or some crazy shortcut. There really isn't, and people won't accept that. If you want it, it takes work. And it's not work is not a dirty 4-letter word. It's what it takes. And people rail against. Oh, there's got to be a quick way. Do you know? I remember when my partner and I were running management company in the entertainment industry. We would dread going to parties. Dread it because people come up. Oh, heard of you? Okay. Can you make me famous? Swear to God, that's how crass they were. Make me famous, and I would go as what? As a doctor, as a scientist? What would you like to be famous? No. I just want to be famous. I swear to God, I had this. If I had £1 for every occasion, I'd have a Bentley Mulsanne parked outside right now. And I look at them, and go, as what? What do you mean, make you famous? What does that even mean? Make me a celebrity. Why?
That comes back to our very first point of just we need to learn how to think better about what we need and what we want. And if you're not kind of giving yourself time to do that thinking, then you do just jump to outcome, which is what you would probably be receiving there. Like, oh, I want the outcome of fame.
I want the outcome.
But they haven't really understood, well, but why? What do you want from it? What are you, what do you think that you'll be doing to get the outcome? And so it goes back to that thinking, you have to allow yourself to do good thinking way deeper and in different corners than you've probably ever done before. But that's where the magic is, for sure, because then you could go to Russ and pitch yourself better. That's saying, look,
no, thank you, please don't.
I've got this, I've got that.
It was the worst mistake I ever made. It was a disaster. I hated every second of it, and it was absolutely ghastly and most revolting people I've ever had the misfortune to work with. Anyway, that's not the point. The other thing is the question that one of the hardest questions, and you must come across this time and time again, is: do I actually have any talent? And it doesn't matter. You want to be you want to be a painter, you want to be a decorator, you want to be a driver. It doesn't matter what it is. It's irrelevant. Do I actually have any talent to do that? And I think people fool themselves often, or they don't have enough faith because they do have the talent, but they won't push it.
Yeah, I think talent is a kind of interesting one, isn't it? Because you don't always have to have the pure talent that you think you do to get to what you want. But you need determination, which is a talent. It depends what the talent is, if that makes sense. But you can, again, it doesn't have to be so sort of black and white. Like, you could say, if you wanted to get into music and people are like, oh, but I have I can't sing. You could still curate great singers. You could start a platform that great, so you could be the curator because you recognize, well, I can't sing, but I've got passion for it. Or you could go down your village hall and just have a sing song where people who can't sing come along. There's ways that you can actually activate your curiosity that, peak talent you might not have, but it doesn't mean that stops. It means that you can shift your sort of interest and curiosity in a different way. And I think that's sometimes what society struggles with a little bit. We're a bit judgmental, but I look for people who've got the passion to get up and do something, to gather people and activate something. And that's kind of what we need. We need people with kind of that energy to do something about their curiosity. I don't care you can't sing, but if you can gather a group of people and have a choir on a Wednesday night, you're contributing 100 times more than somebody who's
Tell
got a
that to Debbie
perfect
on
song,
Coronation Street.
but you can't sing. So yeah. So yeah, I think it's kind of channeling that energy you've got for something and not really letting things that come your way get in the way. You've got to keep going and finding it, but putting it in a way that kind of contributes and brings you back to what we started with, brings that joy that you talked about.
It's the oldest saying in the world. We've quoted it so many times on these shows. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life again. It's like if you love what you do, and that's rare. I know that because let's be honest, Eleanor, most people have a financial imperative. They've got to keep a roof over their head, food on the table, pay the mortgage, pay the rent, keep the kids, get them clothes, everything. It's brutal. So the financial pressures are enormous. So people could say quite sarcastically, but probably accurately, oh, it's all very well for you, for so-and-so and so-and-so to say that. Try living in the real world. Well, I do live in the real world. I celebrate that I live in the real world, not in some sort of ridiculous ivory castle. But if you can combine the two, that's the sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
it. What do you think about this? What do you think about this?
If I could just pick up on that with what you said, though, because people are like, oh, it's all right for so and so, but you've got to stop wasting energy on sentences like that because you have no idea what is going on for people at all. People can have the look like they're absolutely smashing life and they might not be. So just stop wasting energy on that. Focus on yourself. And that same thought energy that you've just applied to, oh, it's all right for them, blah, 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 you could actually be thinking about, you're right, Russ, that that's where I come back to that question. What do I need right now? And what do I want? I need to earn X, Y, Z for bills, and I need to do that. And I need to keep sane, and I need to keep happy, and I need to keep healthy. Like, put all that in your need box and find a way. But it doesn't mean that's it. It can be an enabler for other things, which is what I mean. Like, if you do have a passion for singing, you don't have to go and be a singer. You could then work during the day and sing during night. You can find ways to activate that joy. So work is an enabler to do so, and that means you can enjoy your work because it's making your life what it is, if that makes sense. So I think we have to kind of sit with these sort of statements that come in our head sometimes, that they're just kind of unhelpful. They're holding us in place.
There's certain things that have come up in this last little segment. One is jealousy is the most god-awful emotion. What's the point? I don't understand jealousy. It's just horrible. It just eats you up like an illness. It's just ghastly. Being jealous is revolting. And the other thing, oh, it's all right for so and so. No, it isn't. It isn't. You're so right. Social media paints this picture that everyone else's life is fantastic and yours is rubbish. It's not the same. It's nonsense. It's absolute. It's ridiculous. So stop being jealous, because it's a real waste of energy, waste of time, and concentrate on yourself. And don't argue with idiots that you're never going to meet on social media. That's going to save you hours a day and save your mental health. Rosie, who I've known for many years, in all sorts of other lives, bizarrely, and now she has a farm and horses and animals. And it's great.
Oh, amazing!
And yeah, totally so. Very different from how we met I'm not going to say how many years ago because Rosemary obviously is only 27. Reality TV stars, oh my God, don't get me started, have caused all of this. They're 15 minutes of fame, the Andy Warhol say. People need to do about 5 minutes of fame, isn't it? People need to try and do their best working for what they want, but people want the reward straight away. Oh, yeah. There again, not everyone gets the reward or talent for reward. No, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Leslie Ian Jones sums it up. I always argue with idiots. I train in front of them. I train in front of the mirror. Right. Before we get into more conversation, I think you should plug your books. Where can everybody find them, Eleanor?
Anywhere you buy your book, so Amazon or
are they all on Amazon? Because most people think, I'm not going to try and park. I'm not going to get the bus. I'll just go on Amazon. They can bring it to the door. So what's the other book called? So we've got Another Door Opens, right? Which is out now. That's your new one.
And that's
then what was the other one?
That's all about just how any of us can change and think differently about the world. And then the first one was all about why losing your job would be the best thing that ever happens to you. So again, if anybody's lost a job, been made redundant, it's about the emotions of it. And I get loads of lovely messages from people just saying it just was like a comfort blanket just in that moment where you're just feeling despair, and just to help you into a space of possibility. So yeah, that's the two books.
Shut up, Leslie. That's so rude. Look at this. Look at this. This is really rude. I get Russ Kane's book from a local graveyard. Amazon. Anyway, losing your job though is a lot more. Only if you've got the time, Eleanor, because you may be rushing off to do other stuff. But losing your job is a lot more than just losing your job, because for many people, it's losing your identity. For some reason, their job is them and they are their job. When it goes, they look around and go, what is my life? So it's a lot more than just, I don't have that income coming in. I mean, that's the first thing. And that's the punch in the face. I don't have that income coming in. The next is it can send you into an absolute mental decline because you feel a failure. You feel you've let yourself down or you've let your family down, etc. There's a huge psychological baggage that comes with losing your job.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's what the book writes into. So it doesn't kind of pretend it's a great experience at the beginning. It goes right into that space. And it explores it all. And again, that's what I get messages about, people saying you literally were with me how I felt, because I just feel like sometimes we get pushed out of the space that we need to be in, and people come and give you sort of cliche advice to push you out into a positive space, but sometimes we got to just wallow a bit because it's a lot to deal with. And it's fine to sulk, it's fine to feel all of the emotions, and then you can go, right, I'm done. It's time to own this and move forward.
Neil and I disagree on this point. Don't forget, I've known him forever, right? and it was this, it's I find it difficult to accept that it's okay to wallow. I've got to expand that a little bit, because otherwise that sounds a bit. Neil goes, if you're feeling really, really depressed, it's okay to sit with those feelings and go, I feel really, really depressed. And I'm like, I don't want to feel like this. I'm going to do everything I can to dig myself out of this particular unpleasant mental abyss. You don't want to be there. So I don't like, Neil's much better at it. He's more intellectually aware, or whatever, his NLP training. It's like, well, I'm depressed, so I'm going to sit in that. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that at all. Thank you very much. Let's get the hell out of Dodge.
It's all up to you as an individual. You have to, that again comes back to our point. You got to create space for you to think, to get to know yourself and how you work and what you need, and own it. So it's okay for either of those, as long as you're owning it. What we sometimes get is people around us that are trying to push us into a different space. So you'll maybe get someone who's like, come on, pull your socks up, you need to, or you'll be fine, and they're pushing you out of it. And if you're not ready, that's really dangerous, because you start to feel very lonely and it'll spiral. Whereas if you are kind of in a space of, I needed that, that's great, Brilliant. So I think that's what it is. It's you've got to just have this awareness. It's self-awareness of how you help yourself in these moments and what you need. And you have to shut out people who are just not helping you or not stepping into the space with you. They're trying to sort of push you out. So I think that's what it is.
It's I know I've said this so many times about mental health, and I tried to steer away from it because I was just, to be honest with you, bored listening to myself talking about it. And I thought it was enough's enough. But when somebody is depressed, I mean, properly, I don't mean like, oh, I'm a bit blue, I'm a bit cheesed off today. So, I got a flat tire, or, I'm talking about depressed. I don't mean about a bit pissed off. I mean, talking about depressed. It's no good saying, come on, cheer up. That's like, as I always say, somebody has got a badly broken leg and you go, hey, run around the garden, you'll feel better. You won't.
Yeah.
And you can't. It's the same. It's exactly.
Yeah.
I know that people mean well. They mean well, but it's meaningless.
Yeah.
Depression is brutal, horrible.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
It's no good saying, hey, come on, turn that frown upside down. No, piss off. That's basically my answer to all of that sort of stuff. Have you got another book planned?
A couple, but not yet. I'm kind of trying to just keep in the space of this one for now. But you're always writing in my head, as writers do. Always writing something in your mind, and sometimes it comes out on a notebook. But yeah, I'm just enjoying kind of talking about this one in the moment, because I just feel like it can really help people, not just losing their job, but there's so much change around, and unless you are creating that space to think, you're just going to get kind of swallowed by it. So yeah, I kind of want to get the book in front of people as much as possible.
Excellent. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure chit-chatting with you. I've loved it. I really have. I've enjoyed it very much. You are welcome back on the Midday Show anytime. You don't have to have another book out. Just you got the Longy's email address, so just ping him and things like, I want to come back, and we'll go, yay. All right. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day up in Cumbria, and put a sweater on or something, because obviously you're freezing. Okay. All right.
Thanks, Russ.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Isn't she nice? She's lovely. I'm just going to go to my banners and take that up. What a lovely, lovely person. Right, thank you. Now then, where is that Jones man? Right. But surely the gatekeeper is a reed for a graveyard. No. That was the whole point. I wanted to try and reverse the tropes on everything. Yeah. I wanted to chat to you about something, actually, that I've been thinking about, right, as I get older. Facelift. No, can't be bothered. Is how many of you watching the show all over the world, right? You can't take that. That's a call I'm not taking. No idea who it is. Right. Here's the thing. How many of you is your health impacting on your daily life? How much of your day is taken up, not just worrying about your health, having to deal with your health? I got to be honest. I've been through a bit. This has not been a good year health-wise. It's been a good year kind of up here. It's been all right. But health-wise, as I get older, which I'm very aware of, it's been a pretty crap year, to be honest with you. And I'm not out of the woods yet, to be perfectly blunt. But the physical manifestations of everything that's going through, I'm not going to go into any details. What I'm saying is it's impacting on my life. How much does your health actually impact on your daily life? Are you feeling it's a little curtailed? Are you able to do less than you used to be? I don't talk about the 100-yard sprint. I'm not talking, we're not Usain Bolt, obviously. But just the general stuff. Is it affecting you? I'm just curious. I'm really fed up with it. You don't hear people talk about that. They always go, yeah, we're going to do this. And those shows when somebody comes on who looks like a sort of Hollywood film star. They go, yes, and they talk about their fitness routines and all this nonsense. I'm talking about people like you and I, right? Real people. And they never talk about how much it affects us not feeling 100% well. And I was just curious how you felt, because it's impacting on me and it's making me annoyed. I'm annoyed that I can't do, because of health, all the things that I used to do or wanted to do, or I'm more concerned about doing them now. And I wonder I just want, they used to say, like, I'm going to pick Leslie Jones as an example. Here we are, Leslie Ian Jones. They go, oh, Leslie fell over. And you go, silly ass. And now you get to a stage where you go, oh, you heard about Leslie? Leslie Jones. Oh, he had a fall. He had a fall. And I wonder what stage in our life we go from tripping over and making a complete arse of ourselves to, you had a fall, And I'll tell you one thing for sure. I've had 2 family meetings. I don't mean my family, never meet. I'm talking about family meetings for funerals I've got coming up. And the moment you hear, and so had a fall, boom! That's when the clock starts ticking down. Every damn time. They had a fall, they broke their hip, and then X, Y, Z happens. Man, so many times I hear that story. But it's interesting, isn't it? I always thought you go from falling over or tripping up to having a fall. And having a fall seems to have enormous ramifications. Let's see what Leslie Jones said. Oh, Christ almighty. After deep vein thrombosis, DVT, we don't like that, pulmonary embolism, and now diabetes type 2, mate, I tend to keep going by having no stress and long walks. Good for you. Good for you. And isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that the people with the most problems, look at this, deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, diabetes type 2, are the funniest, are the wittiest, the most willing to engage. They don't sit around moaning and bitching and complaining. It's incredible, isn't it? Every time. Every time. One of my heroes, he'd be very embarrassed to hear this. One of my heroes is my friend Patrick Humphreys. I've known Patrick since we were 14 years old at school together, 14. And I'm not telling tales behind his back. He's been very open about it. When he was a kid, he got cancer. And they took his leg off. Now, these days, they would have dealt with it much differently, but we're going back to the 60s. And the surgery was, to put it very mildly, freaking brutal. Brutal. So Patrick always had one leg ever since I've known him. And that's led to all sorts of issues, right? He's confined now to one of those motorized wheel, kind of scooter things you go along the street, and then it's a complicated piece of kit, and that's what he's in pretty much most of the time now. And he is the wittiest, funniest, most industrious person that I know. He never stops writing. He never stops working. He never stops broadcasting. He never, ever complains. If I phone him up or we're chit-chatting on email or something, what's that? You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. He's anything but fine. But I find it, and I say to him, I just find you so brave. And you're just so courageous, and you're just dealing with terrible things. And he looks at me, with kind of bewilderment, like, why are you saying this? It's just how I am. It's just normal. And I admire that. I admire that so much. He's an amazing guy. His books are terrific. His name is Patrick Humphreys. If you love rock and roll and love pop music, look at any of his books. They're just great. Right. What is this? You are joking me. Blimey. Look at this. Last Sunday, I walked 10 miles through London for Diabetes UK. Wowza. Wow. Not in my lifetime. I'll be long gone. But the same way that they dealt with cigarettes and tobacco, which they knew were carcinogenic. They knew it, but it's such a multi-billion-dollar industry. They didn't want to do anything about it for years, right? They'll look at sugar in the same way, without a doubt. I try and avoid sugar as much as I can. Luckily, I don't have a particularly sweet tooth. I'm lucky. I don't like desserts. If you said to me, you can't ever have a dessert again, I go, okay. As long as you keep the cheese board. Keep the cheese board. The rest of it, I'm not fussed about. But sugar, it's an absolute killer. You know, you got to be so careful. They put so much of that crap into everything you don't realize under the guise of it's healthy. It's low this. It's not low anything. Just don't. I need to, Philip Harling in Yorkshire, I need to start looking at diet and exercise. And more importantly, need to get my mind into gear. Oh, I'm becoming very stagnated now that I've finished renovating the house. It's so easy, man. It's so easy. It is so easy to stagnate. It's the simplest bloody thing in the world, you know. And the day suddenly gone, and then it's evening, and then you can switch on the TV and watch some garbage. It's too easy. It's too easy to stagnate. It's very important not to. The most important thing. Yeah, so you got Leslie Ian Jones going on a 10-mile walk for diabetes, etc., which is amazing. Keeping your old noggin active is so important. It's so easy not to. And I don't know for me, it's writing. For me, it's the love of writing. I got another eulogy I've just finished one eulogy. I got to revise it slightly. Then another eulogy to write today as well. So I got, like a full-on day of writing. I'll just be staring at the screen. Keeps me active. Because otherwise, I don't know what I'd do. Oh, I'd go back to writing my books. But, just that word, stagnating, man, it's so easy to fall into and so bloody dangerous. I enjoyed the what is that meant to be slalom event? Oh, the slalom. I enjoyed the slalom event through all the tourists between Westminster and Tower Bridge. Holy God. Do they have backpacks the size of Belgium? I love it when I'm on the tube. Someone's got this sodding backpack like an IKEA kitchen on them. They're turning like, what? Really? Do you mind? Really? Boom. Got a question for you. Right. Got a question for you. Because I always go, really? That's my phrase. Seriously? Like that. When you're stupid enough to let someone out into traffic and they don't say thank you, or when you open the door for somebody and they just march through, right? I'm talking about a stranger, I'm not talking about a family member. I always go, thank you. And I yell it. I don't care. I don't, thank you. Do you do that? Is it just me? It's so bloody rude. And you stop in traffic, you think, somebody in, you flap, please, like that. And they just drive off. I'm not saying they all drive BMWs and Audis, but not all of them. Not all. It's like, why did you do that, right? It's a little act of kindness. Just go, thank you. Acknowledge it, right? I bet you all do, because we're kind of like a little hive mind on the midday show. We're kind of like a little hive mind in that I'd like to think, and certainly the ones of you that I've sporadically met and randomly met, I was doing my stand-up or something like that, is that you're all polite and we're all decent people. We try. No, we try to be decent people. We make an effort to be decent people. We're never deliberately rude. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Julie Voice, formerly of Houston, Texas, and now of Guildford, Surrey. Bless her. Oh, yes, I do that. It's just ignorance on their part. It is. The other thing, of course, that I've had to learn, you're right, Julie, I've had to learn is don't let these wits live rent-free in your head. Don't. Somebody flips you off when you're driving along. You got to try. I used to be terrible. Bastard, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get a baseball bat and I'm going to find where they live and I'm going to... No. Right. Sod them. You're never going to see him again. They've forgotten it 100 yards up the road. They don't remember. So just forget it. Forget it. Just don't. What have we got? We got another one that I wanted. Here we go. Hey, come on, come. Here we go. Keeping my brain active. I do that playing online games against youngsters who get annoyed when they learn I'm 71. But the great thing about kids is they think they know everything. They know the square root of sod all. That is so true. Right. Philip Harling. If I gesture someone through and they don't respond likewise, I give them I give them another gesture. But surely in Yorkshire, everybody's lovely. Surely. I spent a few days out of London last week. Just a few days. I haven't been anywhere for 6 years. And I spent a few days out of London. And this shocked me. This is how we live. This is how we live in 2025. So I'm walking down the street, and people come up, good morning. They're total strangers. I'm a stranger in this particular town. No one knows me. I don't know anybody there, right? I know one person, two people. I know two people, that's different, right? And people completely strange, they're walking, good morning. And the first time I'm like, what do they want? What do you mean good morning? What do you mean by good morning? And then I thought, no, that is the way we are programmed at the moment, where you got to wear a 10 quid watch if you go to London. Don't have your phone out if you go. I mean, don't, right? And it was such a wonderful surprise. People go, good morning, and you go, good morning. And they meant it. It was lovely. You could chat to anybody and not get a knife in your ribs. Fabulous. Who'd have thought? It was such a change. It was such a change. And everybody says, oh, you'd be so bored. You'd be bored. It's not London. You'd be bored. I hardly go to London. What do? I sit staring at my screen, writing. That's what I do. I can do that anywhere, right? It'd be nice to be surrounded by some beautiful scenery and some fields. And it was extraordinary, I went for a walk where I was staying and got to the top of the road, and there's fields full of sheep. And I'm going, red currant jelly. That's what I'm going. No, I'm I'm looking at the sheep and going, wow, it's real sheep. They don't come pre-shrink wrapped. It was very nice. And the other thing I couldn't get over, well, two things I couldn't get over. One, when you're in the country, as many of you will know, but I don't pretend to be a genius, there's no ambient light at all. So I'm walking at night, got the torch of my phone on, because I absolutely can't see a foot in front of me. And on the one hand, it was kind of creepy. On the other hand, it was really nice. And the other thing that I really couldn't get was so quiet. I mean, so quiet. It was amazing. There was no background noise, no horrible hum, nothing, just tranquility. So a lot of thinking to be done, because people say, oh, you're London. I said, well, I never go to the theatre because I'm not going to spend like 200 quid on a ticket. I'll rarely go to the theatre. If there's some sort of deal, I can go. But otherwise, those prices, no, I'm not going to go. Don't go to the cinema because there's nothing I want to see. I can see everything on Netflix or BBC or Amazon or something like that. So what it is. And they go, well, you'll miss the coffee bars. Will I? Really? I was in this tiny little town. I mean, tiny. The most fabulous coffee places ever. I'm not talking about those horrible, chains. I'm not talking about that. No. Individually run. It was amazing. I was stunned, frankly. Right, what have we got? I got my phone out in London. Mugger saw my Nokia and gave me money. That's very good. What have we got here? No, this one. They're lovely up north. All right. Lovely up north. Only been in the village a couple of years. Inundated with apples, plums, mushrooms from neighbours who have excess product. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Apples, plums. I don't know about mushrooms. But why do I always think about Lonnie Donegan with that mushroom inside? But it's nice. And neighbours are neighbours. neighbours and neighbours. You get to know your neighbours as opposed to you could live somewhere for years and never see the person next door. It's so nice in my small village, says Julie Voice. Everyone stops and talks to me, especially my dog. They talk to your dog. Does the dog answer back? And on that bombshell, hey, I got to tell you something, by the way. And I'm not getting paid for this, right? You know, Jeremy Clarkson, right? And he brought out his farm and done a brilliant job. Brilliant. I've always been a fan. And he brought out this beer called Hawkstone beer. I don't drink beer. Hardly ever drink lager. Hardly ever. And I don't drink like a beer. I don't. It's not for me. Don't like it. And he brought out this Hawkstone. So I'm walking out, I see a little shop, and they're selling this Hawkstone. I thought, you know what? I'm going to see what all the fuss is. Let's see if it's the advertising and everything. And I bought it. I bought a bottle. Blow me down. It's good. Very good. If you can find it, and I'm not getting paid. I've got no financial attachment whatsoever to this. But if you find a product and you think, yeah, that's really nice, might as well talk about it. I don't care. So Clarkson's Hawkstone beer was absolutely excellent. It was delicious. I don't even drink beer. So there you go. I thought it was nice. Well, gang, that is it. Somehow we have rambled through another hour in each other's company. Thank you so much. I love all your comments. Thank you so much. It's really sweet of you. I really enjoy it. And I love the fact you're watching from all different places. I won't be here on Friday because, yep, a funeral to officiate at. But, however, Phil Dave will be here. Jonathan Baz, our theatre critic, will be here. And back from roaming the world will be Chantal Rickard's OBE with all her television recommendations. I got one for you very quickly. Anthony Horowitz, my favorite author, has a new series called 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. It's on BBC. 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. I did guess it, but it's really 36 episodes, very entertaining. 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. It's very good, and it stars Eric. Oh, come on, Russell. He was Will in Will and Grace. Very good. It's a very good cast, and it looks fantastic. Apart from some of the jungle scenes, which remind me of early episodes of The Saint or Danger Man. Anyway, they're a bit hokey, but it's a good show. Right, that's it. I'll be back on, God willing, on Monday. Have a great rest of the week, and remember, no hurty words.